As bumpy and mediocre as Phase 4 of the MCU can be, this movie really is one of the brighter spots. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shang-Chi is epic, and it feels epic. Something that is sort of missing from a lot of the projects in this phase. And I think that's where I want to start. Shang-Chi has a distinct flavor. One of the chief complaints of this franchise is that a lot of these films and shows just aesthetically feel way too similar. A complaint which I don't disregard out of hand. There is certainly some merit to that argument. But Shang-Chi rises above this, with its music, its action sequences, the choice of fight choreography that pays homage to films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and the way in which it folds Chinese culture and customs into the story. It all helps this film really stand out amongst a franchise that sometimes can feel too one note. Visually, this movie is stunning, for the most part. Hand-to-hand combat scenes are a sight to behold, especially the ones that take place on the scaffolding of Xiaoling's complex. Ta Lo is beautifully designed. It stands out like a painting of old-world Chinese landscapes. There are some really fun shots and camera angles that are utilized, especially during the action sequences. And I mean, that bus action scene is incredible. The one shot on the outside of it as it drives through the tunnel while Shang-Chi fights through all those goons, it's fantastic. Even the CGI, for the most part, is very good, which, considering at this point in time, was one of the biggest weaknesses for this franchise. I enjoy most of the cast here as well. I didn't know who Simu Liu was before going into this movie, but man, he this character. He's just fantastic. He slips into every action sequence with such ease. He's a very capable actor as well, selling the raw emotions and the tragedy of this character when he's required to do so. Michelle Yeoh was a great choice to bring into the story, serving as a solid mentor for Shang and Xialing. And Tony Leung, who is just a legend in the Hong Kong film world. What a choice for this movie's antagonist. This character is so complex and he executes this role perfectly. Not to mention the scenes where him and Shang-Chi have to go toe-to-toe as father and son. They're so compelling. Now, where the cast loses me are with a few of the supporting characters. Awkwafina. No slight against her and her acting, she's fine here. She's funny at parts, but her character just seems unnecessary. And I will say she has too many instances where she takes attention away from the story and away from the drama in a scene. I didn't know who Zhang Manger was, and to be honest, I 100% pronounced that wrong. I apologize. But, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else, but she's very hit or miss as Xialing in this movie. She's great in instances, but her acting chops, they just don't stand up to the main cast, and it shows quite a bit throughout. Then there's Ben Kingsley. Why? Why did we bring this character back? He serves zero purpose to the story other than just showing our heroes the way to Ta Lo, something they surely could have discovered on their own. All he does is distract from the narrative, and nobody, I mean nobody, ever asked for more Trevor Slattery. I think the narrative of Shang-Chi is one of the more compelling and enjoyable ones of MCU origin films. It's just so nuanced and emotional. This entire movie is about relationships. Shang-Chi and Wenwu, Shang-Chi and Xialing, Xialing and Wenwu, the children and their relationship with their mother. It's so poignant as these characters who have been torn apart by tragedy, fear, revenge, and neglect are forced to face one another and confront the choices and the actions of their past. Sure, it's a superhero action film, but the story is so much more relatable and impactful than that. Where this movie falls apart for me is in the third act. I desperately need Marvel to get through their heads that not every single movie needs to end in some giant, bombastic CGI fuckfest finale. Shang-Chi and Wenwu squaring off in the temple in Ta Lo was enough. Unfortunately, they needed to add in the second big bad, the Dweller in Darkness, a massive, horrifically animated kaiju devoid of any personality. It's just tossed in at the end, forcing Shang-Chi and Wenwu to continue their fight against a hideous, generic gray landscape. The CGI up to this point has been very good, but once they initiate the kaiju fight, get ready for a pretty lackluster and dimly animated sequence trying to mask the overabundance of computer animation. It's just so frustrating. We didn't need this. We were all in at this point. Wenwu had strong enough motivation. The elders wouldn't allow him and Yingli to return and live among them. And then Yingli was killed, so Wenwu holds a grudge against the village. Boom, you're done. You don't need the Dweller. This movie was fine as is. Overall, Shang-Chi is an enjoyable addition to the MCU, boasting a new cast of colorful characters, a unique and refreshing style, an engaging narrative, and it introduces us to arguably the coolest new hero of Phase 4. Even though I have a lot of issues with the third act of the film, as a whole, it's a high point for this era of Marvel. I cannot wait to see this character pop up again in the next Avengers films, and please, give us some street-level projects with Shang-Chi. Let's team him up with Daredevil and Iron Fist and some others, and just let them go to work. Give the people what they want.